Hello everybody, this is GeneralJannis, and today in Death Card Tactics I will be talking about that I will be taking my Death Card on Crusade. I have always wanted to try these narrative battles instead of matched play, so now I've decided with some friends to embark on a Crusade, so I will be making a mini series about the Crusade and giving some update. So let's get started. Yep. So the introduction is that, as I said, I will be embarking on a crusade with a couple of friends in the coming period, and we are three people, and we have three armies. So we have Space Marines White Scars army, a Craft World Eldar army, and of course my Death Guard. And in a small series of videos, I will be discussing the tactics and considerations of doing a crusade battle for the Warhammer 40k, especially with the Death Guard, and I will also be making some short battle report summary and following up on the development of the Death Guard force. And I'm really looking forward to see how the Death Guard units and the characters can develop, getting additional experience and abilities. So let's take a look at the background of the Crusade and the initial Crusade rosters before the first battles of the Crusade. So before we embarked on the Crusade, there are a few rules that need to be clarified, or we have to make sure that we agree on the house rules. So what we decided with the group is that first of all we will be using points instead of power level. Because it offers better granularity and better balance between armies. Basically, the narrative crusade battle mode, you should use the power level, but a lot of people suggest that it's better to use points because it's more balanced. I was a bit looking forward to using power level, so I didn't have to think about point cost for various weapon options. But I guess also it's a better way to have a more even battles going forward. We decided we will start with a 500 points roster for the first two battles. So we will use combat patrol size crusade missions. So we will, with three teams, we will face each other one time. So there's three battles, three combat patrol battles. Normally with a crusade, you would start by picking a 50 power level crusade roster, and then you can choose the units from that. So that would be around equivalent to 1,000 points, but we chose to start from 500 and then build upwards the roster. So we will increase the roster and the battle sizes to 650 points, 800 points, and then 1,000 points. And after that, to increase even further from 1,000 points, one requisition point will increase the roster by 100 points. This is equivalent to one requisition point increasing the roster by 5 power level in the base Crusade rules. Regarding leveling up and gaining battle honors and scars, etc., so we decided that instead of selecting, we should roll a dice and then allow for one reroll to make it a little bit maybe more a bit more random, and not being able to choose maybe exactly the abilities we want when leveling up, to add a bit of random element to the progression of the units. We decided also that if the trait rolled is something that units already have naturally, we are allowed to free reroll that one. So for example, I saw that some of the upgrades for units is that they give a feel no pain on 6+ ability, but the Death Card, most all the units have a disgusting resilience, which is 5+ feel no pain, and this trait basically is worthless for Death Card. And there might be similar traits that the opponent armies also can get. So if we roll this, then we can re-roll for free and get something else. And we choose the army rosters simultaneously, and we tell it before the games. One particular like one white elephant in the room, let's say, is that in the Crusade rules, there is no basically how the rules are stated for Crusade. There is no limit in summoning demons, and basically Death Guard characters can summon a demon every turn if they didn't move. So basically, and having not to pay anything for those, they will not gain experience in the Crusade, but you would be able to win these small size battles by just spamming demons and bringing plague bearers and demon princes on the table. I mean, that would not be, that would be maybe fun, but not fair. So we decided to say that if I want to summon some demons, then it should be like in the match play that you have to allocate points in advance. So I will not be doing that, at least in the first couple of games. But otherwise, I think this would be a really exploit, let's say, that you could basically just bring a lot of demons and just win the games. And then we decided on the narrative for the Crusade. So here you can read a little bit about the background story. But the Death Guard, a small Death Guard unit, is setting up an outpost on a small barren moon, close to the Maelstrom, close to what appears to be a warp anomaly. And from the White Scars homeworld of Hogoris, a White Scars patrol is sent out to investigate some these mysterious signals emanating from this area of space. And in the same time, a hunting party of Eldari from the Mielkarn craft world follow their Farseer into this area, and then soon everything will be engulfed in battle. Let's hope. And hopefully Death Guard can be victorious and then claim this area for the Garden of Nurgle. But let's see. So looking at the list before we start the battles. This is the White Scars patrol detachment for 495 points. Here it's the patrol is built up by the HQ, a Primaris Chaplain on a bike, 450 points, with a Warlord trait, Master of Snares, and Relic, Benediction of Fury. The Relic gives it's a better melee weapon, replacing the Rosary. And the Warlord trait, the Master of Snares, is quite interesting. It makes that if the chaplain is locked into combat, then the enemy cannot, if the enemy, for example, my units want to fall back, then I can only do so on a 4+, because they are locked into combat with a chaplain. As troops is 5 assault intercessors, and the sergeant, as you can see here, has a plasma pistol and a power fist. Then we have 3 aggressors in this list with auto bolt storm gauntlets and frag storm grenade launchers. And there is a Primaris, there is a Space Marine dedicated requisition point that you can use to give a unit 6 experience points, and basically then you gain a battle honor for 1 requisition point, and we will roll to see before the games to see what this is, what they will get. So they basically are veterans and the aggressors here. And they can bring a lot of firepower to the table, and also very potent in melee combat. And then as fast attack, I think very thematically fitting with the White Scars, 3 Outriders. Very nice in combination with the White Scars ability, the Lightning Assault, which allows the units to advance and then charge. So this is, they can really cover a large distance, they can shoot assault weapons and so on, and then they can charge additionally. So this is a really a good force, I believe, and let's see if my Death Guard can handle that. Looking at the craft world Eldari, the patrol detachment for 494 points. We have the HQ is the Farseer Skyrunner, you can see here. He has the Warlord trait, the Seer of the Shifting Vector, and a Relic, Blazing Star of Fall. And the Warlord trait allows him to do extra rerolls once per turn for example, shooting or psychic test and so on. And he has some natural rerolls and a 4+ invuln save, so it's a good and very speedy as well, very speedy character flying. For the troop choice is 7 Dire Avengers, including an Exarch, and they have a Shimmer Shield, which gives 5+ invul save. And then on the fast attack, we have a Viper, and the dedicated transport, there's this very nice, cool-looking model, the Wave Serpent, with vectored engines. which means that if it advances, then it's -1 to hit. So this is very fast unit and can transport the Avengers, and has a lot of firepower and can fly around on the table, and basically probably run loops around my slow Death Guard troops. But let's see. And the custom craft world is Expert Crafters and Hail of Doom. And I think the Hail of Doom gives them -1 AP. Normally their shooting weapons don't have AP, and they can also do some more overwatching with on a 5+. And now let's go through my list. So this is my Death Guard army. The small start of the army, a patrol size. I've called them the Reapers of Decay. So I think also it's interesting thematically to find some names for your characters and units, and then you are becoming, let's say, more invested in them, and as they level up, maybe the narrative grows by giving them names. So I used 3 requisition points. So for my HQ, I took a Malignant Playcaster. So it's called Ilarion the Afflicted. I chose the name, and I gave him a warlord trait, the Arch Contaminator, of course, one of the best warlord traits in the Death Guard Codex, for 1 requisition point. So basically in the Crusade, in order to take traits and relics, you need to use requisition points. And then for the relic, I chose to take the Wormspiter pistol, replaces his pistol, and if he hits with his pistol, then the target is corroded, and then all other weapons in the list are for attacking that target for that turn are counted as plague weapons, which is really good and harmonizes well with the Arch Contaminator. For psychic abilities, I took the Miasma of Pestilence and the Blades of Purification. The Blades of Purification should be able to make the Plague Marines more hard-hitting in melee. For troop choices, I went with 5 Plague Marines, 137th Infantry, the Sons of Plague. So I tried to upgrade, so I took a lot of special weapons here. So the champion has a plasma gun and a power fist. The squad has 2 blight launchers and 1 flail of corruption, and 1 guy is the standard bolter guy, so it's 145 points. Going forward, you can use requisition points to add more models and make a bigger squad, or bring another, let's say, Plague Marine when we increase the squad sizes. And you can also pay requisition points to rearm them if you want to, let's say, replace the weapons. But I think this squad has a nice size, nice weapons to start with, let's say, and then I could maybe just add bolter guys to fill it up to at least 7 or 10 or 20 maybe at the end of the Crusade, who knows. For elite choice, I chose to take a Foul Blight Spawn, Anthrax the Sprayer. You can see him in the background here. And basically he has a very nice shooting, the very nice flamer weapon, and he can also this aura that even if the opponents charge you like White Scars, maybe you can, the Plague Marines or the units can fight first and then hopefully take out some enemies before they get the full charge from the enemy. And then I took a Plague Burst Crawler, one of my personally favorite units of the Death Guard army. So it's a 77th Heavy Bombard, the Blessing of Nurgle, and the Plague Burst Crawler is armed with Entropy Cannons and the Heavy Slugger. And I used the 1 requisition point to upgrade with a stratagem that's called Accelerated Entropy, where the Entropy Cannons become plague weapons and do minimum 3 of damage. I was thinking maybe that's good to kill off some aggressors and some tough units. Hopefully. So basically the good thing about the Crusade is now that I've spent this requisition point, this Plague Burst Crawler will always have this accelerated entropy upgrade cannons going forward, and I don't need to spend any CPs or anything to update in the coming battles. It's important to note that you should remember to use some requisition points before your first game. You start with 5, and this is the cap. So if you, in every battle you play, you gain at least 1 requisition point. So if you don't spend any in the beginning, you're just wasting requisition points. So I definitely say that you should use some requisition points before your first game, and so you don't lose them. Now some thoughts about the army selection. So some thoughts on why I chose like this. I think first of all, it was very difficult to make an optimal list for 500 points. There are loads of units and synergies I would like to bring, but there is no room. I mean, normally I would select a 1500 point or 2000 point army with a lot of synergies and a lot of characters, but now I think it was difficult to make the optimal list for 500 points and still have a lot of things that are good for narrative Crusade play, and then be able to expand the list going forward. So this is like maybe not the optimal list, but it's a balanced for starting, progressing, and narrative needs. So for the HQ choice, I would of course like to have a Demon Prince in the list, but I think it was too expensive at this point. If I used the Demon Prince with wings that I have, it's 200 points, and then I think then I would only have 300 points for the rest. So maybe he will be. Maybe the playcaster can can summon the Demon Prince going forward. Let's see. I think a Chaos Lord would be probably nice to take instead of the playcaster for rerolling ones to hit, because I don't have any rerolls to hit with this list. I have a lot of rerolls on the wound rolls, but not on the hit rolls, and the hit rolls are not so good, for example, for the Plagueburst Crawler. But I think that I chose the Plaguecaster because I think, in my opinion, he's a better character to bring for the narrative progression. He can learn more psychic powers, he can deny more powers. I was thinking that I needed also the psychic. I wanted to have the psychic aspect. The Arch Contaminator trait, of course, is a good thing, and if I want to bring my Plaguecaster continuously in the battles, then I think it's really useful. The Relic, the Worm Spitter, I took it more of a hunch. It's not definitely needed for this list because there are basically most of the weapons are plague weapons. Only few weapons are not plague weapons in this list, but I can when taking new units in the future, I think the relic could be helpful. In the troops choice, I think the Plague Marines are the best option for Death Guard for Crusade and narrative. The Poxwalkers are cheap and they are interesting, but I think they are too weak if you don't take Typhus. And if you take Typhus as your HQ choice, I don't think it's quite costly, but more importantly, he's a named character and he does not gain any experience from the Crusade, so I think this misses the point. So I settled for the high firepower squad with 5 man. But it's quite expensive only to get 5 men, so I'm now thinking if I should have taken more just normal bolter guys to have more bodies to protect objectives and protect take control of the field. So it's not as durable for the points. I hope I can make my saving throws, and I hope I can make my disgusting resilience throws. So let's see. For the elites, I consider the Noxious Blightbringer to make advanced rolls and maybe give him the Demon's Toll for Invul Save Aura. Basically, only the Plagueburst Crawler has an Invul Save Aura, so that would be beneficial to have the Blightbringer with the Demon's Toll. But I went finally with a Foul Blightspawn. I think he's very good shooting versus vehicle and other strong targets, and hopefully can help my troops fight first and increase the durability in the melee phase. Let's see. And for the heavy support, I think the Plagueburst Crawler probably it's a gamble, and definitely I would say it's not optimal for this size of battle, but I just wanted to bring one. It's a robust unit with nice long range firepower, but it can be tied down. It's not so good in melee in this configuration. The 4+ ballistic skill is a liability, and I need some good dice rolling in these games. But hopefully I can give it some nice battle honors when it increases the experience, and there are some that give it +1 to hit or reroll once to hit, and that would be really nice. Of course, I would like to bring some Mephitic Blightholders, but I cannot take the squad of 3 in this small battle. That would be 300 points, and there would be basically nothing for the rest. Of course, that could be more competitive, but I think for narrative, I preferred this size. I think 1 could be okay to give also more cover for the Marines and improve their saving throws, but again, then it would only have a 4+ ballistic skill with non-plague weapons, and it's less durable than the Plagueburst Crawler. But let's see. So the strong points for my list, I think, is high firepower and potential for good melee damage and decent psychic abilities. And the shortcomings is it's quite slow army as Death Guard is, and I have a bit too few models to take damage and to hold objectives. And finally some thoughts on the enemy armies. The white scars seems to be like a very potent army, a fast army, and able to advance and charge. And the outriders with the bikes, they can basically, when they advance, they just go 20 inches. They don't even roll a dice, and then they can charge. So basically, with these small fields, they can charge. They can advance and charge very quickly. The headquarter chaplain on the bike also very fast and has a 4+ invul save and good in melee combat. The whole list has loads of wounds. The outriders have 4 wounds each, the aggressors 3 wounds each, and the intercessors 2 wounds each. So I think I haven't counted the total number of wounds I need to make against this army, but it's it's considerable. And also they can pump out loads of shots. The aggressors, they could be shooting, let's say 25-30 shots with the 3 models. From long range, and then they are very good for in the melee attacks, and when they charge, for example, the outriders, they get extra attacks. So the whole army is very potent in melee and attacking and doing charges. And then looking at the Eldari army, it's a very fast army, even faster than the White Scars, and a lot of the units have fly abilities, so they can be moving around very easily in the field. Also, the dedicated transport Wave Serpent gives the transport capability, so it's more a strategic choice and more strategic freedom how to deploy and where to go. The leader, the Farseer, has a 4+ invul save, and he's a more potent psyker than the Plaguecaster because he has some natural built-in rerolls to his psychic tests. So he should be able to. He should be on paper a stronger psyker than my Plaguecaster. And of course, all the units here they have quite some potent shooting. Normally the AP is not very high, but if they hit a 6 to wound, the AP becomes high, and then it becomes definitely a problem for my units. So this concludes the first part of the Death Card on Crusade video. In a few days' time, we will be playing the first battles, and then I will be posting an update on how it went. If you want to follow the development of the Death Card, and let me know if you have some thoughts or comments for my list or the opponent's list, and would you have chosen something differently? And yeah, I hope you will follow, and I hope I hope you can wish me some good luck rolling some some 6s, because I definitely think I will need it against these opponents. So with these words, GeneralJannis is signing out. Stay safe out there, and bye bye.